Let's talk about a word that has divided humanity for centuries: God. If you already feel tension in your body when I say that, you're not alone. For some of you, God points to a real, personal presence. A father figure, a guide, someone watching over your life. For others, maybe like I used to be, the word God feels loaded with control, shame, institutions, and painful memories. You might reject it completely. You might feel, if that's God, I want nothing to do with it. Over time, I realized something uncomfortable. Both sides, believers and non-believers, are usually fighting over the same misunderstanding. The argument is about a picture. One side says the picture is real, the other says the picture is fake. Almost no one stops to ask, what if the problem is the frame itself? The shared frame is this: God is out there and I am in here. A cosmic someone and a little someone. Two separate things. Religions often reinforce this. God becomes an external being, a kind of divine person with opinions, preferences, rewards, punishments. Atheism rejects that picture but usually keeps the same basic structure. A universe out there and a little me observing it, making sense of it, occasionally feeling lonely in it. What if the whole structure is wrong? What if both the God camp and the no God camp are like characters inside a dream, arguing about whether the dreamer exists? This is where it gets radical. The deepest thing I've come to sense, and I'm not asking you to believe it, is that separation from God is an illusion. Not a poetic illusion, a very literal one. The moment we try to define God, to make God into an object, a person, a thing we can picture, we've already created distance. We've turned infinity into a character. We've taken the ocean and drawn a cartoon of a wave and called that God. If we strip all that away, what are we actually left with? Right now, in this moment, before any theory. We are left with this simple, undeniable fact. Experience is happening. Sights, sounds, sensations, thoughts, emotions, a living, moving stream. And there's a quiet, unnoticed fact running through all of it. It is known. It is experienced. There is awareness. Awareness is not an object. You cannot see it the way you see a chair. You cannot hold it in your hand. You cannot even prove it to someone else. Yet it is the most intimate, obvious thing. Without it, nothing you call world, body, or thought would exist for you. We usually assume that awareness belongs to me. My awareness, my consciousness, locked inside my head, looking out at a world. But if you look closely, the opposite is true. The body, the head, the room you are in, the sounds, the thoughts, all of these appear in awareness. Your body doesn't contain awareness, it appears within awareness. Your mind doesn't produce awareness, it is a flicker inside awareness. Awareness is not in the world is in awareness. This is where the old God language suddenly becomes interesting again. Because now God is no longer a giant person somewhere far away. God is the infinite, indivisible field of awareness in which everything arises. Body, mind, world, galaxies, history, all of it. God is not an object you can seek. God is the very capacity for seeking and finding. God is not something that experiences. God is the fact that there is experience at all. Now here's the piece that is hardest to hear. The I you feel so convinced you are, the me you protect, defend, promote, hide, improve, does not exist as a separate entity. It is a thought, a habit, a story that awareness tells itself about a particular cluster of experiences. Almost every sentence in your mind starts with this I. I am tired, I am spiritual, I am a failure, I am enlightened, I am broken, I am doing my best. We rarely ask, what exactly is this I? When you look for it, you find sensations in the body, images in the mind, memories, bits of narrative. All of these are objects in awareness. They are known, they change, they come and they go. What you do not find is a solid, independent owner of experience. So here is the uncomfortable, liberating equation I want to put on the table. The I you think you are and the God you think you are separate from are both imaginary in the way you usually picture them. What remains when those pictures loosen is not a void, it is not nihilism. What remains is this: a single, seamless field of awareness expressing itself as observer and observed, as me and world, as seeker and God all at once. One reality playing all the roles. You are not a person who has awareness. You are awareness currently appearing as a person. You're not inside the universe looking out. The universe appears inside you as awareness. I know for many of you this sounds insane. If I were hearing this 15 years ago, I'd probably roll my eyes. And I want to be completely honest. You can't really understand this in one video. I can't even claim that I fully live it. This is not a quick insight. It usually takes years, decades of careful contemplation, reading, practice, and above all, a brutal honesty about your own experience. Even then, the illusion doesn't just vanish once and for all. It thins out, comes back, dissolves a bit more. It's like fog lifting, then returning, lifting again. You might think, but I clearly exist. I feel like me. How can you say this I doesn't exist? I'm not denying that there is experience here. I'm not denying that life hurts, that it's beautiful, that it's complicated. I'm saying the separate somebody you think is at the center of it all. The observer who stands apart from the world is never actually found outside of thought. It is like a main character in a movie. Incredibly vivid, emotionally powerful, but still made of light on a screen. Here's the novel angle I want you to consider. What if the real idolatry is not worshiping statues or rejecting them, not believing in God or denying God, but worshiping this fictional I? What if the deepest attachment in human life is not to religion or to atheism, but to the story, I am a separate self at the center of my life? From that perspective, the religious person who says, God is out there and I must please him, and the atheist who says, there is no God, only me in a meaningless universe, are playing different roles in the same drama. Both take the I as absolutely real. One imagines a big cosmic parent. The other imagines a vast empty stage. The unseen assumption underneath both is, I am this separate observer. What non-duality says is, that assumption is the original illusion. So what does this mean in practice, not as a theory, but in your actual day? Next time a strong emotion hits, anxiety, jealousy, shame, anger, just pause for a moment. Feel the raw sensation, the tightness, heat, pressure, buzzing. Then ask very gently inside, this is happening to who? A thought will answer, to me. Don't stop there. Ask, who exactly is this me? Actually look, don't think the answer. Look. You might notice that what you call me is just a bundle of sensations and thoughts, all floating in the same open awareness as the sound of my voice, the hum of the room, the feeling of your breath, observer and observed, inside and outside, me and world. All of it appearing as one indivisible event in awareness. This is not something to force. It's not something to achieve. You don't get a certificate that says no self accomplished. It's more like a slow, repeated act of honesty. Again and again you notice, everything I call me or not me appears in the same field. I never actually step outside awareness. I am that awareness. If this sounds crazy to you, that's okay. If this fascinates you and scares you at the same time, that's also okay. I'm not asking you to convert to a new belief system. I'm not trying to rescue the word God for you. I'm simply pointing to something that is already true, whether we like it or not. The line between you and God, between observer and world, between self and other, is not found anywhere except in thought. Beyond that line, there is only this: a single living, luminous presence, appearing as your life, as my life, as every perception, every heartbeat, every loss, and every joy. You don't have to accept any of this right now. Let it sit, question it, argue with it in your own mind. That's part of the process. If something in you feels quietly drawn to it, follow that. Read, listen, practice. Take years if you need to. There is no rush. But maybe, just maybe, let this one possibility land. The I you defend does not exist the way you think it does. The God you searched for, or ran away from, was never somewhere else. What you have been looking for your whole life is the awareness that is looking right now.